Hi, this is Scott Sweeney in Palm Desert, California. Welcome to our Trusting God Quiet Time series. If you're joining us for the first time, I've been reading through the 10 Psalms a day and really focusing on God as our fortress, God as our stronghold, God as our source of strength during this time of the coronavirus. Today we're going to be focusing on one of my favorite Psalms, Psalm 62. So let's jump right in. In verse 1, he says, "Truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from him. Truly he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken." And here David is at a time of stress, a time when he's on the run, a time when he is finding his strength in God. And he recognizes that his only rest, my soul finds rest in God. And I pray that during this time of stress, this time of challenge, this time where maybe some of us are quarantined, some of us are going to work and worried a little bit about what's going to happen. I want to thank all of you who are out there on the front lines in the healthcare system, and we're praying for you all the time. But this is what David is doing, is finding his rest in God. And I pray that during this time we can find our rest in God as well. He says that he is my rock and my salvation and my fortress. God is my stronghold. God is where I go for strength. When I'm with him, I'm safe. When I'm with him, I'll never be shaken. I pray that you can have that connection with God, that you can picture yourself in a big castle, protecting you from enemies, protecting you from your fears, protecting you from whatever may be bothering you or causing you distress. This is where David found his strength. And this is where I believe we can all find our strength. In verse 3, he goes on, he says, "How long will you assault me? Would all of you throw me down, this leaning wall, this tottering fence? Surely they intend to topple me from my lofty place. They take delight in lies. With their mouths they bless, but in their hearts they curse." And David had physical enemies that were literally trying to kill him, trying to find him, trying to take him down. And that may not be the case with us, but in the same way, in verse 3, you see, what is he concerned about? How long is this going to last? How long will I be on the run? How long will this unsettling time go on? And I know that's a question that I've asked many times. And even now, as we enter the month of April, another month of quarantine for some of us, or self-isolation. And I'm wondering, can I do this? This is a long time. How are we going to get through? With God, we can get through. And again, I want to thank all of you who are out there working and doing those vital jobs that we need. April 1st, in another way, is a great reminder for me, not that just that it's April Fool's Day, but that my son was baptized 3 years ago today on April Fool's Day. We call him a fool for Christ. And in a special way, his best friend from Orange County was baptized exactly a year later on April 1st. And so today we're going to be celebrating a little bit, but best friends in their friendship, and then best friends in Christ. What an amazing blessing to follow Jesus at a young age, to have a partner, to have someone to call you higher. And I want to give a shout out to Connor and Caleb right now. Great job, guys. And in verse 5, the last part of verse 4, it says, "With their mouths they bless, but in their hearts they curse." And they felt that attack. David felt attacked. He felt that people weren't on his side, that people may say one thing but mean another. And in those times when we feel uncertain, maybe it's at your job, maybe it's at your school, maybe it's even in your own home or with your own family members, that you're not exactly sure what they're saying, and you feel like, man, they're coming after me, they're attacking me. Even then, he found his strength in God. Even then, he made decisions time after time. I'm going to still do the right thing. I'm still going to treat people with respect. I'm still going to try to love, even when he felt attacked. In verse 5, he continues, "Yes, my soul find rest in God. My hope comes from him. Truly, he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken. My salvation and my honor depend on God. He is my mighty rock, my refuge." Sorry, I lost my place there a little bit. "Trust in him at all times, you people. Pour out your hearts to him, for God is our refuge. And this is packed with David's heart and convictions for us that can help us during this time. He decided, yes, my soul find rest in God. In those times of indecision, of fear, of concern, to make a decision, I will place my hope in God. Yes, my rest comes from him. I'm firmly deciding that he is my rock. He is my mighty rock and my fortress. And the first time I read this, I thought, wow, you said the same word over and over, my rock, my mighty rock, my fortress, my shield. And that was his conviction. And sometimes it's helpful for us to repeat a certain mantra to help us to stay close to God, that you are my rock, that you are with me, that you are my salvation, you are my fortress. And just reminding himself that God is with him. And in those times, he probably didn't feel that God was there at times. Felt like, where is God? What's going on? And in those times, we need to be reminded even more that he's there. It says, trust in him, pour out your hearts to him, for God is our refuge. And this is one of my favorite verses here because it shows that David just poured out his heart to God, his fears, his hopes, his crazy thoughts, his angry thoughts, that he poured out his heart, his good thoughts to God. That he wanted to hear all of our stuff. He's not surprised by what we feel. When we feel angry, even at him, it doesn't take him by surprise. It's even okay when we look at the Psalms, you see David gets angry again and again, but he doesn't live there. He doesn't let it turn into bitterness. And I pray we can have that same attitude with God, that we pour out our hearts to him. In 1 Peter 5:7, it says, cast your anxiety on him because he cares for you. And in an amazing way, when we do that, God's love just takes away all of our concerns in so many ways and helps us to face the day. Surely the lowborn are but a breath, and the highborn are but a lie. If weighed on a balance, they are nothing. Together they are only a breath. It's good to be reminded that our lives are short, that God could take us away at any time, and that may sound morbid, but in a way it gives us perspective. It helps us to prioritize. It helps us to, as the word says, number our days. A wise man numbers his days. A wise woman numbers her days so they can make the best decisions for God. I pray that we can feel that even now that we feel our mortality, that we feel that we are not untouchable, that God can get our attention. I think in so many ways he's done that, at least in my mind. He's gotten the world's attention, and quickly. What else do you think God would try to do to get our attention? How else would he get all of us to stop and have an opportunity to turn to him? I believe that he's giving us an amazing opportunity to turn to him, to love one another, to realize what's most important. And I pray that we can make the most of that opportunity. In the next verses, he talks about money. Do not trust in extortion or put vain hope in stolen goods. Though your riches increase, do not set your heart on them. Here, he's talking about getting our security from our financial circumstances. It's so easy to either get security or not get security depending on where we're at financially. Even now in this crisis with people losing jobs and scrambling, we're praying for you in an amazing way, but it may be a reminder that God is the one who wants to take care of us, that ultimately we can't get our value from how much money we have or how secure we are financially, because ultimately in a second it could be all gone. In the book of James, it talks about our life being a mist, and once the mist is gone, that we're over, and we may not even be remembered by generations to come. In verse 11, he says, one thing God has spoken, two things I have heard. Power belongs to you, God, and with you, Lord, is unfailing love. God truly has displayed his power to me in this time, that he is powerful, that he is in control, that the world is in his hands, and my life as well, and yours as well. And also, not only does he have amazing power, but he has unfailing love. I believe deep down in our hearts, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're dreaming about. This is what we want. And comes from God. Jesus displayed this love for us, that even when we didn't care about him, that he cared about us, that he died for me, he died for you. I pray that even now that we can open ourselves up to God's love, to know that he cares about us, to know that he's there for us, and to know ultimately that he's waiting for us. He closes out by saying, you reward everyone according to what they have done. This is a time to recognize that we all will be accountable to God. This is not a popular stance these days, that we don't want to be under authority. We don't want to be judged by anyone, and not in a harsh way. But it does say that we will be accountable to God someday. I pray that this psalm gives you encouragement, it gives you strength, that you can make him your fortress, that you can put your hope in him, that you can pour your hearts out to him, and ultimately that you can be a true follower of Christ. Thank you for joining us. Please join us back here very soon for more encouragement.